me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long.
Yeah, life is on the highway. 75 degrees here at the Paddock Mall. It's time for Auto Repair with Personal Care. The man who gives you that personal care is Matt Gibbs. He's the host of this program. He's also the owner of Sunrise Automotive, which is where my car goes to get its personal care. And of course, also, don't forget Crossroad Car Dealership, which has how many cars in it right now?
We have about 15.
15 cars right now, so we'll talk about that a little bit. The phone number right now to call Matt is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm good, Larry. How are you?
Pretty good. Did you have a good 4th of July?
We did.
What'd you do? Anything special?
Blew a bunch of stuff up.
What'd you blow up?
Oh, we blew up all kinds of stuff.
You did it smart, right? You didn't lose any fingers or anything?
No, I still got it.
There was a guy this morning, both hands gone.
God, that's crazy.
He was why hold them? I mean, you don't hold them at all.
No, you put them down on the ground, shoot them up.
Put a big, long...
Get a big, long Bic lighter.
Is that what you use? Or
Well,
use
yeah, because I keep burning my thumbs all up.
Goodness. There was a video online of a dog grabbing a Roman candle and then running around with it in its mouth, and it was shooting vertically at everybody. Ay.
That sounds like something that would happen in my house.
Yeah. So how's my car? Knock on granite. My car is doing pretty good.
Good.
You know, in the last conversation with the doctor, he was talking about how symptoms can develop slowly and you might not notice them. Well, that's exactly what happened with my car.
Yeah, it happens all the time. That's why it's good to have. So that's one of the reasons why I like test driving a car, because I can get in it and I can drive it and I hear something or feel something and I bring it to the customer's attention and they're like, well, it's been doing that a long time.
Do you always drive with the customer in the car?
Not always.
No, but you did
like
with
if
me.
it's and the reason that I did it with you when it comes to rattles and noises and stuff like that, because I may hear something and boom, my attention's drawn to that particular noise, and you're hearing something completely different. And to be honest with you, it's more important for me to address what you're hearing. It's more important to fix that than what I'm hearing. Now, if what I'm hearing is dangerous or it has some kind of effect, I'll bring it to their attention. But, if I don't fix what they're hearing, then I didn't fix the car. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always, for my first attention is toward the customer, what they're hearing. And then if it's something that I hear, then I'll bring it to their attention.
Right. The number again is 622-WOCA. If you have a question about your car, I'm encouraging you to call in with that question. Maybe it's not so bad as you think, or maybe it's worse than you think, and you need to get it looked at so you don't have trouble. I was telling my son about your diagnosis of my car, and then told him that could have caused the wheel to come off, which is, something I don't think anybody realizes that something so bad can happen from a bad noise.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know what it is, check it out.
Now, what is your advice when the oil light comes on? The advice when I was a kid: oil light comes on, you stop right away. You don't even drive another minute.
Well,
is that not true anymore?
No, that is true to a certain extent. It really depends on how attentive you are. In other words, if the oil light's on and you don't hear no noise, then I would pull over, check to make sure that there was oil in the car, and then drive.
Right.
But if the oil light comes on and you hear something change, so now it sounds different.
Right.
Stop. Just stop.
What could happen if
Well,
you don't
blow the motor up.
Okay. And when you say blow the motor up, does that mean an explosion?
No, I don't mean an explosion. What I mean is, if let's say you've lost oil pressure, the oil light comes on. The oil light is monitoring oil pressure.
Okay.
So if you lose your oil pressure, well, then now your bearings and things internally, engine parts are not being lubricated, so therefore
that's when the heat
and locks up the motor, slings a rod, blows it up.
And you have a phone call. By the way, the phone calls are available to anybody. You want to be part of the show, 622-WOCA, the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Yeah. Good morning, Matt.
Morning.
Say, speaking of oil, I've got a situation. I don't do a lot of driving, and I use a full synthetic oil. And I know you always recommend city driving here. I live in Silver Springs, but in Ocala. Every 3,000 miles, you like to change that oil. If it takes me 1 year to get 3,000 miles, is that okay?
What kind of car is it?
It's a Buick Enclave.
So it's like a 2008 or newer?
12.
Yeah, I would say that you're pretty much okay. And I don't. If I do full synthetic oil changes now, that used to be the thing every 3 months, 3,000 miles. I don't do them. If we do a Schaefer oil change, we're going 6,000 miles on Schaefer oil changes, 4,000 miles on our regular oil that we are putting in customers' cars. Because then there's two reasons why. Back in the day, when cars had carburetors, you know, when you stopped driving the car and you set it and you parked it and you went inside and you had dinner and you took a shower and watched TV and, you know, and the car sat all night long. Well, some of the gas that was inside the bowl of the carburetor would just kind of work its way out. It would leak out and go into the crankcase, which gas in the crankcase breaks down your oil. And that's one of the reasons why we want to change it every 3 months, 3,000 miles. We're contaminating the oil.
Okay.
And
now my wife's got a 2012 Nissan, and I use synthetic oil in her car also, but she drives almost up to 5,000 miles a year. Now, would that be all right too?
Yeah. It's as long as it doesn't have a carburetor and it's fuel injected, that really helps a lot of it helps keep the oil clean. But here's the issue that alarms me is when if you don't put many miles on the car and you're gonna change your oil once a year, make sure you keep checking the oil. A lot of people never check the oil in between oil changes. If you developed a little bit of a leak or you're seeping somewhere, how much are you going to seep out in that year? And this is what I've seen with people that use Schaefer's oil, is that they don't go in and check it, and your engine is going to use some oil. It's going to use some of it. So make sure you keep checking it. Make sure that the level is right where it needs to be. You don't want to run out of oil because you've extended this time of changing the oil, and then you have a serious problem.
Now, wouldn't a low oil level show up on an indicator on your dash?
Well, if you have a low oil indicator, a lot of cars don't have
one of them anymore. Used to have one.
You know, a lot of them don't have them. That's whether you do or whether you don't. What if that sensor is failing, and all you have to do is pull the stick? Just
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just check it so you know. And you might be a quart low, and the indicator not come on. But I don't like running them low on oil, not even a quart low.
Okay. Well, you would think that would be so important with your oil level in your car that it would have an indicator on your dash to let you know if you are a little bit on the low side,
Well, and some of the cars have them, and some of the cars don't.
Yeah, you can always tell, but when you start your car up, the whole dash lights up with that oil indicator. You could be able to see that there then, right?
Yeah, you should be able to right when you turn the key on, engine off.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's one of the easy things to check is that dipstick. Of all the things that I know how to do, at least I know that I don't know how to do. At least I know that little thing.
Right.
And I kind of panicked a little bit when I didn't have the stick for the transmission when I got this car. I didn't have to check that anymore, and I was a little bit worried about that fact. So.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the cars today don't have transmission sticks.
I don't have one.
Yeah.
Unless you know where it is, and I haven't found it.
Yeah.
I can't find it. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Good morning, Matt. This is Sonny calling.
Hey, Sonny.
I have an older rider mower that I have, And I noticed that I was always changing the oil. The oil was getting black all the time. And what I did is I installed a little valve on the fuel line. And since I've done that, I've seen my oil stay looking like oil a lot longer. So I'm assuming what you've said about the gas going through the carburetor and leaking into the engine is absolutely correct.
Yep.
Now, what I'm bringing this in to you for would be, or telling you about, wouldn't it be behoove some people to put some kind of a little valve on their cars if they have a carburetor onto the fuel line that goes to the carburetor?
Yeah, but do you want to do that? Yeah, if we're talking with people that won't even check their oil, they're not going to go out there and turn on and off their fuel, every night when they get done driving. And there's nothing you could do with the fuel that's already in the carburetor. See, like on your lawnmower, if your fuel's running out of the carburetor on your lawnmower, your float drops, which opens the needle off its seat, and allows gravity will allow fuel to come back into the carburetor. It doesn't necessarily work that way on a carburetor on a car. It has to be pumped in.
All right. Well, anyway, what I'm getting at is the fact that putting a valve there, you get pressures build up as the day gets hotter. The pressure will build up in the gas tank and maybe push some fuel that away. And what's been working, what I found seems to work now, this is nothing new. They used to have a shut-off valve on the Model A's and T's.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's nothing, new technology. It's just something, the only thing, like you said, you got to remember to open that valve up once you jump in the car to start it up to go.
Right.
So, anyway, it was just a thought. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
So I have a question that I think may be a simple one. It's my car again. My gas cap no longer fastens tightly. I need a new gas cap, I guess.
Yep.
Is if I don't ever get one, is that going to be a problem? No.
It won't be a problem. It could make your check engine light come on.
Yeah. Okay.
And make and set a code for an evap system.
Okay. But I mean, that little door closes and.
Well, you don't want to. You have that little thing that click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Right.
The click, click, click
and
broke,
the click,
I guess.
click, click part is broke. But
Right.
as long as the seal's still on the cap itself, so that when it does go to click, 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 and it seals against the filler neck, then you'll be okay. On a lot of the newer cars, again, we replace gas caps all the time because they're wore out and they don't seal against the click, click, click. You're not getting it tight enough to seal before it clicks.
Okay.
So you replace it with a newer one. Now it's got a little bit more tension. It tightens a little bit more to seal the gas cap to the filler neck. And that can make, that could be the difference between a check engine light coming on or a check engine light staying on.
Oh, really? Well, is it a universal? Like the oil cap is not universal. I had to get one specifically for my car.
No, you get a gas cap specifically for your car, too.
You do?
There is actually
Really?
Yeah, there's a vent inside of the gas cap. You know how back in the day, you if you were out driving and you went into the gas station and you opened that cap and all that.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
A lot of cars, they don't do that anymore. And the reason that they don't do that anymore is because that system is vented now. There's a percentage. Actually, I have a tool that I can hook to the evap system, and it's allowed to allow air to leak out at a certain, I don't know what you would call it on my gauge. It's not like PSI. It's reading an amount of, when you hook the machine up, it actually puts smoke in that system.
Oh, really?
It actually puts pressure in that system. And you can monitor how much is leaking. And every car is different. And it may be that this car is allowed to leak from this parameter to that parameter. Anything above that is excessive leak. Anything below that could be like something's blocked up. Something's blocked up. And if something's blocked up, then you could open that cap and get that that sucking sound. My Jeep, it has a code for the evap system, and whenever I go get gas, it's like I take the cap off and I got to wait 2 minutes because it's sitting in there just sucking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I drive around with that problem of my car because I know that problem isn't going to affect anything to how the car drives.
So something as simple as a gas cap has some technology behind it.
Yeah, a lot of the new cars even have little gas cap lights on the dash that'll indicate that there's a problem there with that
Glad I don't have that.
It's just crazy, and this system only monitors the vapor that gas puts out. You ever pour gas on a concrete and see all the vapors?
Yeah,
that's all that system does is monitor those vapors.
Wow. It's amazing to me that everything evaporates, but the only thing that comes out of the clouds is water. Isn't it amazing? There's no gasoline falling out of the sky.
No, I wish there was. Every once in a while.
I'm glad it's not. You have to have a weatherman. Stay inside today. Don't go smoking outside anyway.
Because lightning and gasoline, that wouldn't be a good thing.
Man, that's another planet. There's some other planet where gasoline evaporates and gasoline falls down to the ground. I often wonder how they figured that out. How did they figure out that you could take oil, refine it, and actually make it a combustible liquid? I mean,
I think originally they took the oil and they turned it into like diesel fuel or kerosene, and gasoline was the byproduct. So they found out that this byproduct is absolutely awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think originally the gasoline was discovered as a byproduct of diesel or kerosene or something like that. Home, lamp oil or home heating oil or something like that.
And then somebody said, what we could use this for?
You stop and think about it, and I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I've watched the cars evolve into what they are today. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was in high school, I had a history teacher, which I won't mention my high school or the teacher, but I was not doing real well in his class. Mm-hmm. And he called me after class.
You don't want to say the school?
I won't even say the school.
Really?
And a lot of people know what school I graduated from. But he said, he had a Model A, and he needed some work done on his car. And I needed to get a passing grade in the class. So we worked out a little deal. I said, I'll do this if you give me a B. He said, I can't give you a B. No one would ever believe you got a B in my class. I'll give you a C. I was like, okay. And
so you negotiated.
Negotiated my grade
okay.
in my history class. But taking this engine apart, it was an original Model A. I was 15 years old at the time. Uh-huh. And seeing, and I could vividly remember looking at the pistons, and they had slots in them that they were cut for expansion and contraction, and just looking at the way that they did it back then, and looking at the way that they do it now, it boggles my mind to even think that they came up with this even back then. Even though the technology is so much greater, fuel economy is better, performance is better, everything is better. But the original guys that sat down and figured out how to make this engine boggles my mind.
Yeah, the fact that something explodes and pushes a piston.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. It is amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And to do it all in an enclosed area so that nothing explodes.
Right. That the piston stays where the piston needs to be.
Tiny little explosions that.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
And if you move this, it'll move that, and then you can move some wheels and you can roll.
I know. It's just crazy.
So Rob and I did this silly video where we were talking about who was the smarter genius, the guy who invented the wheel or the guy who invented the axle. Because without the axle, the wheel just falls over.
Right, and at the end of the day, they were equally geniuses.
Yeah, you have to have both of them. Well, you don't on a motorcycle, I guess.
But even that.
But who thought of that? Let's put two wheels, one in front of the other, Don't worry, people can balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take it all the way back to a bicycle.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
And take it all the way back to a wagon that was drawn by a horse.
But at least I had 4 of them. I mean, who thought to put 2, one in front of the other? Somebody else. Oh, you fall over because nobody can ride a bike right away. You have to learn that.
Well, I don't know. My son he never learned how to ride a bicycle. He learned how to ride a motorcycle. Never learned how to ride a bike. One day I come home and he's riding a bicycle. I said, when did you learn how to do that? And he's like, really, Dad? Come on. Really?
A bicycle or a motorcycle?
Oh, I came home and he was riding a bicycle. He was racing motorcycles, but he never learned how to ride a bicycle.
Isn't that funny?
He learned how to ride a motorcycle.
And you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Hey, Matt, this is Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Do you take care of automobile air conditioners also?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a 2001 Dodge with a 5.9 liter Hemi engine in it, and the clutch on my AC engages sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
When it does engage, it blows ice cold air.
Okay.
Can the clutch only be replaced?
Well, it's probably, I would doubt very seriously it's the problem with the clutch. It sounds to me like there's maybe a problem with either one of your pressures aren't quite right, or maybe a pressure sensor or a pressure switch or something like that. If the clutch is able to engage, unless it's lost its magnetism, which is an easy test, then it's probably something that controls the clutch to come on and off.
That sounds reasonable. What's the time frame on checking something like that? How long would you need the vehicle?
Probably need it for about an hour and a half.
Okay. Do you make appointments?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll have to call you and get that set up then.
Yes, sir. Just give us a call and we'll set you up.
Do you need the number?
I got Matt's number.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
He's not only a good mechanic, but he's a family friend also.
Yes, sir.
Pat and Rachel send their best.
Wow, well, absolutely. Thank you.
Sammy looks like a fullback. In fact, he is playing football, but he got a broke foot right now.
I heard. I saw it on Facebook.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I've been sending him lives because I guess he's been playing Candy Crush since he can't play football.
Yeah, he's really bummed out because his foot broke.
Yeah, I understand.
He had leg weights on his ankle and was doing leg lifts just trying to get that leg back in shape. And Mom said, "No, maybe you better not do that till we talk to the doctor."
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. That sounds like my son.
He's serious about his football.
There you go.
Okay, good program, guys.
Thank you, sir.
For being here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And for those who don't know your phone number, what is it?
My phone number is 352-690-1993.
All right, and you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Good morning, Larry and Matt.
Morning.
Hey, Matt, I have a 2003 Toyota Sienna with a V6.
Okay.
And I got just check engine lights on. It's showing code PO420, which is low catalytic efficiency.
Yep.
But it doesn't tell me exactly where to go from there. Is it a sensor, or do I have to replace I assume it's the rear cats, right?
Excuse me. It could be. Very, very seldom. More times than not, you see the primary cat, which is what we call the upstream cat.
Right.
Okay. They have problems more so than the downstream cats. But here's the other thing too. You want to monitor O2 sensors and temperature of your catalytic converter before you just go replacing a catalytic converter. The reason it could be working deficiently is because there's another sensor or a vacuum leak or there's a few other things that you need to look at that's causing it to be deficient.
Yeah. We're up against the clock.
It's also throwing a small evap leak code, but I didn't think that was related.
It's not related.
Yeah.
You have to.
So another mechanic suggested there's a little extension tubes where you can take your sensors and take them out of the exhaust stream, and I guess it makes them read lower. Something kind of tricks the system. Have you ever heard of those?
There's some aftermarket stuff. Hey, we got to get off the air. If you want to call me back, and I'll talk to you some more about it. But we got to change programs right now.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we apologize for that. And the phone number again, real quick?
352-690-1993.
All right. Sunrise Automotive. Don't forget, Crossroad. 15 cars, good cars, available for sale right now over at Matt's place as well. Yep. All right, we'll take a little break. Thank you, Matt. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m.